Namibia has the second highest unemployment rate in the world, yet our government is still not interested in putting support structures in place to ensure that its citizens have at least some basic food so they don't have to go to bed on empty stomachs. We have seen how 45 children in the Maheke region died of hunger between January and June of 2023. If you put that on national scale, you will realize that's just the tip of the iceberg. But government still does not see the need to implement a citizens assistance program such as a universal basic income grant, also known as BIG, in order to increase coverage and make a dent in the fight against poverty. It is clear to us that the SWAPO-led government is not concerned about the deteriorating living conditions of its people when it allocates the Ministry of Gender Equality, Poverty Eradication and Social Welfare a bare-bone budget which mainly covers operational costs. The ruling party surely wants people to continue voting for it on empty stomachs, while its leadership and cronies continue to live lavishly. Honestly, people want to work, but there is simply no employment opportunities. So what are they supposed to do? If government does not see it fit to provide people with a subsidy such as a universal basic income grant to survive on, while it solves the unemployment crisis that we have in this country, then it must at least allocate decent budgets to sectors that can help us create employment in this country. To my surprise, the Ministry of Labour, Industrial Relations and Employment Creation is still allocated a bare minimum budget just to cover operational costs. It is the responsibility of the government to create employment or create an enabling environment for employment creation. As the name says, the Ministry of Labour. If you underfund that specific ministry that is responsible for creating employment, then our government is not serious about creating employment opportunities nor an enabling environment for employment creation. Even the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology gets more funds than the Ministry of Labour. That just doesn't make sense. If Namibia cannot absorb a sizable amount of its workforce into formal employment, which it has been struggling for the past 33 years, then it must at least support small enterprises. But that has not happened. We have seen how NAMRA has been unfairly treating young Namibians who import goods from various countries to earn a living on their own by banning or destroying their imports while allowing the Chinese to do the exact same thing. We have also seen how the city police harasses street vendors and prevent them from selling their goods for a living. Government should put in place policies that support small enterprises like those ones to help Namibians make their own living if it cannot provide them with employment. With the housing crisis that we have in this country, that President Geingob himself declared a humanitarian crisis whereby half the population lives in shacks, the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development should be allocated much more than the Ministry of Defense. We are not at war here. So why does defense continue to be favored in terms of budget allocation? Government is not serious about solving the housing problem that we have, that they themselves see has become a crisis. And then again, the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector is also really neglected in budget allocation, even though it has the potential to create employment and help us become food secure. If we do not take this sector seriously, we will never have sufficient jobs and never become food secure. And we will keep on importing most of our food, which pushes the prices up and make life even more expensive for already struggling Namibians. And so many of them are struggling. Now, according to the World Bank, in regards to the agricultural sector, the challenge is to make the agricultural sector and its up and downstream activities competitive through innovation, public investment in support of rural public goods and services, and secondary town development to make them sufficiently attractive to young and old farmers alike. If we reduce poverty and inequality in Namibia, crime will definitely reduce. This has been scientifically validated. This in turn will lead to a huge chunk of resources allocated to, for example, the Ministry of Home Affairs, Immigration, Safety and Security to be reallocated to more critical ministries to reduce poverty and inequality, create employment and make us food secure. To summarize, government is still not interested in prioritizing the well-being of its citizens, honestly. Instead of adopting economic models that are Ubuntu-oriented and most suitable for us, all it does is to follow the same foreign exploitative, neo-colonial, neoliberal economic models by not allocating resources to, for example, a universal basic income grant to get its people out of the misery of generational poverty and inequality. As it has been scientifically proven, poverty drives down intelligence, and one cannot have a productive nation with a low intelligence. The most important thing in a country is its citizens. Without its citizens, there wouldn't be no country. People are the ones who make a country great. So a happy nation is a productive nation, and that's why it is really, really crucial that government must do its utmost best to ensure that its citizens are content and healthy to have a thriving nation.